Everyone, I want to welcome you to an amazing episode of Winging It here at the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School. I am your host, Zealan Turner, the Director of School Communications. And here with us, we have Sophia Severson. She's the Administrative Assistant here at CPFA. PALCS, that's a lot. And we also have Lauren Mazzio. She's our school counselor at CPFA. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. I'm so excited to answer some questions that have been really burning in the back of some people's minds, but also just some interesting information about CPFA that we can talk about.
I'm the administrative assistant at the Center for Performing and Fine Arts. So my role entails everything from doing tours of the building, assisting with audition prep for new students who are interested in becoming a part of our program, and then also just day-to-day, functioning of the program, assisting with purchasing school supplies and, communicating with vendors. So a little bit of everything behind the scenes.
I am the school counselor for CPFA. Right now I serve grades 6 through 12. This year I will transition to just focus on high school, so 9th through 12th grade. We have a new counselor joining the team that will focus on middle school. She'll join in about January.
Who?
April Brauch. You heard it here first.
Oh my God.
April Brauch is the middle school CPFA school counselor.
April, we're so excited to have you.
Big shout out, April Brauch. Yeah, so I do, just like Sophia, I do a little bit of everything, a little bit of the academic, college and career, social, emotional. So everything from a study plan to just emotional support.
Easy softball question. What is CPFA?
Not so easy, I feel like. It's CPFA in a nutshell is an audition-based pre-professional intensive arts education program. CPFA stands for the Center for Performing and Fine Arts. These classes they're intensive for a reason. They are at minimum college prep level class going all the way up to the AP level. Students get hands-on in-person and online, really college level education in performing arts, visual arts, music, and dance.
With that being said, CPFA is not limited to just students who are interested in a professional career in the arts. So students who are just interested in having that arts-intensive, serious arts study are welcome to join the program, whether or not they've had previous experience or not.
As long as you are committed to the study of art, really, is our biggest requirement, is valuing the arts as a career path, if applicable, if not, as a valuable use of your education time.
I was going to say, listen, I was a fine arts major in college, and I feel like it made me a better human.
Mm-hmm.
So I am here for that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can start at 6th grade, I mean, you're ahead of the curve.
I like to say that the attention to detail and problem solving and breathing technique that you're learning in a dance class is going to benefit a musician and a lawyer. So no matter what you do, I think having that background and that connection to the humanities and that creative outlet is just going to benefit you just as a human as a whole.
Totally. And a community member, regardless of where your community is.
Which is the foundation of what we do at CPFA. The community and student being the center of that community is the focal point of everything that we do.
I love that.
Yeah, we like to say that CPFA is, a lot of C's, a community of creative collaborators.
I love that.
A community of caring creative.
Caring creative. I was going to say kind, and I was like, that's okay.
Close enough.
So are students required to choose a concentration at CPFA?
Especially at the middle school level, students are encouraged to take classes in multiple arts disciplines. It's not until your junior, maybe senior year of high school, so 11th and 12th grade, that you really start to narrow it down. Because at that point, you have career aspirations or specific colleges in mind. But even our juniors and seniors will take, 3 classes in one discipline and take a 4th class that gives them the opportunity to try something new. Even our most dedicated dancers will take, for example, a visual arts class as their 4th class to not only give their bodies a break, but also be exploring the arts in a different way outside of what they're probably doing all day during school, and then also in dance studios outside of CPFA just gives them an opportunity to try something different.
They say that like if you learn to play the piano, you can play any instrument that much easier. And I feel like the arts as a whole are that way. If you open yourself up to artistic thinking, you're opening yourself up to that in every aspect of your life, not just in your creative endeavors.
I was actually just doing a tour this morning, and I was trying to help the student feel comfortable as they were walking around and just kind of learning about everything that we have to offer. So I was asking him, I said, what is your favorite subject in school outside of the arts? And he kind of had a hard time answering that question. I think for him, music was, his passion. So he's constantly hearing music in his head. But his mom gave me the example of math, that when he started studying music, he became a lot better at math because they were so interconnected.
Oh, wow.
That it helped his math studies. I thought that was cool.
So what kinds of art disciplines does CPFA offer?
Okay, so we have our 4 departmental umbrellas. So we have dance, and within dance, you can study ballet, modern, jazz, and tap, as well as Broadway jazz. In the music department, you can do guitar, you can do vocal classes, you can do piano, you can do... Mr. West is a jack of all trades, so really any other instrument that you can play, he can teach. Fine arts, we have 2D art classes, 3D sculpture, ceramic classes, graphic design, digital media arts. And in theater, we have straight acting, musical theater, a film and digital arts program that collaborates really beautifully with the fine art department. And those are just the classes that we offer. But students within those classes can kind of find their own path and get a little bit more specific in their classes geared towards their specific art focus.
So what do CPFA students do after high school typically?
Literally everything. This will be my 4th year at CPFA, and in just that time, we have sent a student to Juilliard for ballet, and we have sent a student to Villanova for nursing, and everything in between. Going back to, yes, this is a program geared towards people that want a profession in the arts, but not just that, because a student that leaves PALCS having done CPFA has learned time management skills, organization skills. They've learned how to present themselves in front of a group of people, or they've learned how to present a portfolio of their work in a board meeting, or just how to move through the world as a more empathetic thinker by tapping into that creative side of their mind. So they do literally everything.
The beautiful thing about having this community of artists is the opportunities for networking. So we've had multiple students over the years that we've witnessed, and then the many years before we joined CPFA, who have had opportunities arise just by forming relationships with their teachers and their peers. I think of Mr. Townsend right off the bat. He's had a number of students who've been offered professional opportunities. He sent students to national jazz competitions where they've won scholarships, Berklee School of Music, these really incredible opportunities that wouldn't have been possible had they not been a part of this community. All of the classes are taught by industry professionals, which I also think is incredibly important. At the end of the day, that pre-professional arts intensive aspect of the program is not something that they are experiencing after they graduate, but it's something they're experiencing day-to-day at CPFA already.
So what if a student is interested in the program but has never participated in the arts before? So they have the interest but not the history. What can they do to prepare for an audition at CPFA?
Just 1 year at CPFA, if they participate online, they will have 4 arts intensive classes on their transcript to send to colleges. If they participate online, they could have anywhere from 1 to however many they have. So they will come in on paper having this intensive arts education. Our faculty is incredible at gearing students towards the professional path after they graduate. So the theater department regularly volunteers their time in class and after school to work with students on their pre-screen and audition tapes, and they'll help to actually physically tape the auditions or give them feedback on their repertoire. Our fine art teachers will build into their classes. Students will present a portfolio as though they were at a portfolio day for a college and give them feedback and teach students how to critique respectfully other students' portfolios, which again is another skill that they'll need at the college level. So it's infused in the curriculum for that post-graduation experience. But even outside of that, the teachers volunteer their own time to meet one-on-one with a kid and say, hey, I think you're a really good fit for Temple's Tyler School of Art. I think you should apply. Let me help you with your portfolio. Or I think you would love Boston's musical theater program. Let's look at your repertoire together.
To prepare for the CPFA audition aspect, we're really just looking for students who are excited about the arts. That speaks volumes, whether or not they have experience acting in commercials or whether they've just maybe done their local school's play or musical and are really interested in learning more and really diving deeper into that, that arts discipline. So to prepare for the actual audition, it's split up into two parts. We have an online application where students actually have the opportunity to upload pictures and videos. Let's say they're a painter, they could upload pictures of paintings that they've done or drawings. Maybe they play piano. They could record a short video of playing their favorite song, whether it's a pop song or a classical piece, and everything in between. We've had students upload short stories that they've written. They're a creative writer, or a monologue from their favorite play. And then we invite them either to an on-site audition day if they're interested in the on-site program, or an online Zoom interview if they're interested in just taking classes online through either our part-time or full-time program, the difference being 1 or 2 online classes for part-time versus 3 or more online classes, arts electives. So if they do come in for the in-person audition, that's sort of the last step in the process. We really try to prepare them through our instructions beforehand so that they come in as little nervous as possible, just excited to meet the teachers and participate in the activities that we have planned for the day. So they'll come in, we do a fine art still life drawing, or we do maybe an improv activity with theater to really get the kids trying new things, and getting to know our teachers and also getting to know each other. Most of the time, students leave an audition day having made a friend or two. The on-site audition day will end with a short little interview, so a chance to sit down one-on-one with the student and really dive into what they're interested in. We had a student who talked about Minecraft the whole time. And he is a beloved 7th grader right now in our program. It was just great to see how passionate he was about that creative interest of his, even though we don't offer Minecraft at CPFA. We do talk about elements of art.
Mm-hmm. So what about the online process?
For the online process, it's very similar. We still do ask students to upload an online application. They'll answer a few questions just to share more information about themselves with us. And then instead of the on-site audition day, we just invite them to a Zoom interview. And sort of same concept. They'll get an opportunity to chat with us about their interests and the kind of classes that they want to take and what their arts goals are for the year ahead.
What does the online aspect of CPFA look like? So if you are taking online classes, whether it's part-time or full-time, what is that like?
So it'll be very similar to the model of a traditional PALCS fully online student. These are online classes that you will engage in once a week. Just like your PALCS classes, you'll have a virtual lesson where you meet live with your teacher and other CPFA students. You'll have asynchronous work for the rest of the week. It's usually working in your sketchbook or going and photographing the world around you or practicing a dance routine and uploading that to Canvas for your online collaborators to review and look at together and for your teacher to offer feedback on. So very, very similar to a PALCS elective course. It's just a little bit more intensive because all of our classes are at minimum a college prep level. So a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more challenging than an entry-level arts elective.
Do you feel like it is as immersive as the online program in regards to, working with other artists in your class to collaborate or to get feedback or to present work?
One that is a big focus of our teachers is improving the collaborative aspect of our online classes. Certain art fields automatically lend themselves to being able to do that a little bit more easily than other ones. The performance-based classes, it can be a little bit more difficult to create that time, but our teachers intentionally build that in. They build in not only the group sharing of their artwork, but the group feedback of their artwork. So the teachers are providing feedback, but they're inviting discussions among the class for students to say, hey, I really liked this choice that you made in your up in class today. Or why did you pick this song? Why did it resonate with you? Or, hey, I noticed your form on this move was was different. How did you do it?
So how often do the on-site programs meet?
We have a middle school day and a high school day, and each division will meet on-site twice a week. Middle school will meet on-site Mondays and Wednesdays, and high school will meet on-site Tuesdays and Thursdays. And everyone is asynchronous for Fridays, unless you are, like most of our students are, involved in an extracurricular activity. You might spend 3 days up to 5 on site, depending on how involved you want to be in the program. And by that, I mean we have some high schoolers who, of their own volition, they ask us if they can come in on middle school days to work with the teacher during their prep on an audition they have coming up. Or they want to teach a group of our middle schoolers some choreography, because choreography is something they want to pursue when they graduate. So some students spend 5 days a week with us because they want extra professional opportunities in the arts, which is wonderful. But classes happen twice a week in person for our on-site students.
Wait, so how does that work with also being a full-time PALCS online virtual student?
It works, but it works because our students that are interested in CPFA are dedicated to academic success and artistic success. You have a full academic caseload on top of your CPFA classes. That's a lot of work. And the work doesn't stop when you are on site at CPFA. You're getting work assigned that you're coming home to in all of your core classes. So really the way to make it work is, I started talking earlier about the time management, the organization. The big thing is you need to be motivated to make it work. It doesn't fall into place. It takes rearranging your schedule to fit your schoolwork into 3 weekdays instead of 5, or maybe giving up a few hours on the weekend just to get some work done, or working later into the evenings than you would think to ordinarily in a traditional school.
What about the live lessons? Are they missing live lessons for their core classes when they're at CPFA?
Usually not. Usually the classes are structured so that core content virtual lessons happen on students' at-home days. Mm-hmm. Not to get too into the weeds, there are some exceptions for our USP students that are concurrently enrolled, but usually the bulk of the core virtual lessons for middle school will happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and for high school, Mondays and Wednesdays when our students are at home. That's not true for every situation. So this is where I come in, where we kind of create an individualized work plan, essentially, where we take a look at their schedule and say, okay, these are the virtual lessons we can attend live. These are the ones that we know we can't make every week, or we don't get to every week. What do we do about that? It requires a little bit of creative thinking on the students' part to fit everything in, but they're so motivated to do it that they make it work. CPFA students are PALCS students first and foremost, so their PALCS teachers are involved, their CPFA teachers are involved. This year at CPFA, we've added someone to the staff who's wonderful, Dominique Ridley. We have a dedicated CPFA academic advisor who works with just CPFA students because they have a unique challenge in fitting their schoolwork in while taking on this arts education. We view each student and treat them as an individual. They're not just a CPFA student. They're not just a PALCS student. They're also not just a student. A lot of times these kids are incredibly committed to dance crazy hours a week, like 20 hours a week on top of everything else they do, or they work, or they childcare, whatever it is. There's a lot that these kids fit into a week. And so it's our job to see them as the whole and say, okay, here's how we're going to meet you where you are. And the flexibility of both programs, PALCS and CPFA, really allows for that.
You have the students who are super dedicated and want to be there 2 full days a week. I mean, it is a full day of arts classes. But that doesn't work for every single student. You might have a student who's already involved in professional opportunities, so they're maybe only interested in taking 1 or 2 classes. So that's when you would enroll in the online program. You would take those 1 or 2 arts electives through the CPFA program, and the online students then still have access to the entire CPFA community, right? So they still have access to Ms. Mazzio as their CPFA school counselor. They have access to the CPFA academic advisor. They have access to all of the social events that we might hold for our community to really boost community morale. They are welcome and encouraged to participate in after-school activities. If a student again, is really only interested in taking 1 or 2 classes, but wants to participate full-time in the after-school musical, and they're dedicated to be there for every single rehearsal, then they are more than welcome to participate in that opportunity. So we actually had a student who lived out towards Erie, and for 5 years that he participated in CPFA, he drove out every single year for the concerts. We purposefully hold our dress rehearsals on the same exact day as the concert so that students who maybe have to commute and travel for the concert can come in, we'll do the dress rehearsal together, they take a dinner break, and then we hold the concert. We also offer opportunities for our online students to Zoom in to certain performances. So for example, we hold something called Friday Night Cafe. Mm-hmm. Any PALCS student, by the way, any PALCS student is welcome to perform in Friday Night Cafe. It is an open mic night. As long as you're enrolled in PALCS, you can record your performance and send it in to Mr. West to be, we have like a live stream of the event so we can show your recording, or you can come in person. We encourage friends and family to come be audience members and participate and support their peers that way. Most of our events are live streamed depending on the rights to the performance or music that we're using for that show. So as long as the rights allow us to live stream the event, we absolutely do so to reach our students all the way across the Pennsylvania Commonwealth.
How long are each of these classes?
All of our classes are year-long. We don't have ongoing year-long enrollment at CPFA because all of our classes are year-long, and they move quickly and they build on top of each other. So once you're in, we hit the ground running, and you will spend that year focused on that art discipline in those courses.
Tell me about the opportunities, particularly in grades 6 through 8, to experience the other art areas maybe that they haven't necessarily signed up for directly.
Yeah. So in addition to all of us encouraging incoming students to take classes in as many disciplines as they want, once they're in, we kind of create that arts exploration in a course appropriately titled Arts Exploration, which is a rotation-based course. So it's broken into 4 rotations throughout the year, and it is kind of really specific topics within our art form. So for the first marking period, students could choose from an improv rotation or yoga. There was one called Swifties that they did. They choreographed songs to Taylor Swift music. There was a comic book design class. So arts things that our teachers, honestly, I think it's really fun because our teachers get to explore some of their more niche focuses in these classes, and students can, without committing to a year-long class of something they've never done before, they're like, oh, you know what, I can commit to 2 months of a comic book design or 2 months of line dancing, and I've never danced before.
It sounds very student-focused and student-driven.
It is. So we actually just yesterday sent out the signups for the second rotation. Students submit their top 4 choices, guaranteed to get their top choice at some point in the year, but encouraged with a growth mindset that if you don't get your first choice, be open to, trying the one that you got, because it's still going to be really, really, interesting.
For our listeners who might be previous students, the Arts Exploration course is something that was designed over time through community feedback. So we used to do something called integrated arts, where students had an opportunity to experience one of the 4 disciplines at some point throughout the year. So it was a 4-course rotation, and students were really required to participate in that, which meant that if a student who had absolutely no interest in a performance-based opportunity, they were pushed outside of their comfort zone, and it was a really beautiful concept. But we had a lot of community feedback that really encouraged the idea that students wanted a little bit more autonomy over what they studied. So here comes Arts Exploration. Students and teachers are able to put forth their ideas based off of their specific interests, as Lauren said, and it has really flourished and been a really successful program. So we're excited to see where it goes next year.
So students who are on site, this is a full day, 2 days a week, correct? Yes. So is there lunch provided?
Not lunch provided. We do not have a cafeteria. We have a vending machine, and we have snacks that I keep in my office. So come visit.
But they do take time for lunch?
Yes, we do have a lunch period.
Okay. Are there social events or extracurricular activities?
We do an 8th grade dance for all of our middle school students to really spotlight our 8th graders who are headed to high school. We do a holiday extravaganza right around the holiday break, right before everyone takes some time off. Everyone dresses up in, holiday pajamas. It's always a lot of fun, and it really boosts that community morale right before we leave, especially because the students work so hard throughout their school day, that having those special events to really kind of take a break and just be together and do something fun that doesn't require thinking or planning or scheduling is really important. And then, of course, at the end of the year, we do something called Senior Send-Off, and it is always incredibly emotional.
I know. I'm like,
I know.
Just thinking about it.
We have a Senior Send-Off committee who plans for this event each year because it is such a coveted, special, important moment for everybody. We gather as an entire school in our theater. And we celebrate one by one all of our graduating seniors. We talk about what they're going to do after school. We talk about everything that they've done during their time at CPFA and in the arts. We live stream the event. This is super important for our families so that they can, kind of follow along and watch. We have never ended a senior send-off without everyone being in tears. That's how close I think our community is, and how important that is for us to kind of gather and be together and celebrate our students who are headed off into the world.
What do you think students get most excited about?
Snacks.
They do really get excited about the snacks. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to mean as much to other people as it does to me, but the big thing that I see kids take away from this program are connections, not just with their friends, but with the faculty. I was helping a student with their college application yesterday, and she wrote a whole essay about one of our theater teachers and how much she changed her life and changed the trajectory of her career. And I hear that like multiple times a week. And so it really is that community aspect, not just with the students, but the teachers. The teachers work so hard to make this experience so special for these students, and the students take full advantage of it, which is amazing.
Time and time again, I'll do tours with potential families who are interested in learning more about CPFA. Maybe they haven't made their decision yet. A lot of the time, their student is experiencing bullying at their current school or is just overall not happy, and they're looking for different options, right? So they're looking at schools of choice. They come, they do a tour with CPFA, and the look on that student's face after they leave our building is the reason why I do what I do. Time and time again. So when students do go through the audition process, it's a little nerve-wracking, right? You're nervous. You're not sure if you're going to get in. And when they receive their decision letter and they step through those doors that first day of school, everyone's excited. Everyone's excited for you. I'm excited for me. Here comes another great school year.
So what are some frequently asked questions that we might not have touched on yet? What do you get most commonly from inquiring or prospective students and families?
A lot of parents who are interested in CPFA, but maybe have never had their child go through sort of a non-traditional program like this, they ask if CPFA classes count towards credit. Mm-hmm. That's a resounding yes. So all of our CPFA courses count, for the most part, at the high school level as one elective credit, correct? Some of our CPFA classes will fulfill certain graduation requirements, including, I think some of our CPFA classes count towards a technology requirement. Our dancers who are in a performance-based class might use their dance activity as a part of their movement log for their physical education classes. So all of our classes will count towards your graduation pathway.
CPFA students, they're taking on an elective program that is entirely optional. So they are going to graduate with far and away more credits than they need. But those credits for a lot of our students that are pursuing arts, those are the credits that actually are going to mean the most in your application. Right. I like to use this example all the time. One of our current parents is a professor at Moore College of Art and Design. And the first day I met her, she's like, "Hi, I would love for my son to go here. Every CPFA student application I've ever seen is an automatic yes."
That's amazing.
Obviously what these kids are learning at CPFA, it's not just a typical arts class. They are getting ready for a collegiate level or conservatory level or professional level of a career in the arts.
And developing a portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So they're leaving their high school career with an actual portfolio to be able to put in front of not only art schools, but also potential, employers as well.
Do you ever lose students before they graduate because they have already gotten so deep into their professional careers?
A lot of our students that are really, really dedicated are making these professional connections, these professional opportunities already as a student. And we've accommodated students in the past when they've gone off to do the Kansas City Ballet. We're like, okay, we'll convert you to an online student and we'll keep you that way. But we know that you need to go out and do this for real. So enrolled them in an online dance class so that we could, keep them part of the CPFA program, but allow them the flexibility to do what they want to do in real time and take advantage of that PALCS flexibility for her schoolwork outside of it.
Are there any misconceptions that people have about the program that you could clear up?
I do think that there's a misconception that being in CPFA kind of gives students a free rein to not engage with their PALCS classes, not go to virtual lessons, not submit work, and use CPFA as an excuse. No. Our policy is written that CPFA is never to be used as an extension request rationale, as a reason given for falling behind in your work. We really do support students in reaching academic and artistic excellence. They both have to be as important as the other. So our students, we are supporting them in their PALCS classes, in communication with their PALCS teachers, attending their virtual lessons as much as we are supporting them in their artistic endeavors.
It's really important that students are keeping an open mind and really pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone to be successful. Occasionally we'll have a student who will get started on the school year. It'll be 2, 3, 4 weeks into the school year, and they decide that they don't like their piano class anymore. Well, unfortunately, we don't allow students to drop classes after the add drop period. We have that time period for them to make choices, after the first couple days. But once that add drop period is over, students are really encouraged to keep going with the class, to keep pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone, and to really just give it their best shot because they've committed to that class for the year. So as an arts intensive program, they're really expected to give it their best and really be dedicated for that year. And then if they want to try something completely new the next year, they're more than welcome to do so.
CPFA has an academic policy for admission and to remain in the program. So students, when they apply, one of the materials they will submit to us is a report card, as recent as possible. CPFA students are expected to have and maintain a C average in all of their classes or higher to get in and to stay in the program. If your grade falls below that, we have an intervention models built into our program that involves myself and our academic advisor, that if you fall below that academic threshold, you are required to work with us. You are required to meet with us at least weekly so that we can identify what the challenge is and work to overcome it.
So if we recognize that maybe students aren't ready yet for an arts intensive program like CPFA, that maybe they spend the next year building their academic skills. They spend the next year boosting their GPA. They spend the next year really setting themselves up for success before adding on this extra arts intensive side of their, academic experience. So it's really all about student success.
We have had students that have applied for the on-site program and their grades are right on the threshold. So we say, you know what? We would love to have you in the online program for a year before we accept you on site for the following year. We want to give you this intensive arts education. We want to do it in a way that allows you to be successful everywhere else in your life as well. So it isn't like you either fit our mold or you don't. We really do everything we can to kind of provide the education and the arts that particular student needs.
Even when we go through the audition process, it's really important for us to not only ask the question, is this student a good fit for us, but we want to make sure that we're a good fit for this student as well.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Drama.
I knew she would say that.
Morning person or night person?
Morning person.
Night person.
We're very clear on that, Sophia.
Believe it or not, we get along really well.
We really do. We do work well together. I promise. It seems like we've never met.
Would you rather never have sweet food again or never have savory food again?
Are we putting salty under the category of savory? Because
great clarification.
Can I just say sweet or salty?
Yeah.
Those are 3 different things.
That's a bonus question.
You know what? If we're gonna dig into this.
Okay.
Sweet foods for the rest of your life or savory foods for the rest of your
Okay.
life. You can salt anything you want.
I love that.
Savory.
Savory.
But if it was between savory and salty, savory. Between sweet and salty, sweet.
So you're just not salty.
Dark chocolate.
So she just doesn't like your question, I think.
Then she just rejected it as a whole. That's fine. What was your answer?
Savory.
Would you rather work alone or with a team?
With the team.
Sophia. I thought we were going to say that together.
How do you recharge? Around people or by yourself?
Both. I am your classic ambivert. I have to be around people. I love working with a team, but I need to shut that office door occasionally.
Okay.
I'm an introvert. I need to recharge by myself. But I love to work best as a team.
Would you rather go on a road trip or fly?
Road trip.
Fly. It's
Yeah.
all about the destination,
Yeah.
not the journey.
Go to prom or go to homecoming?
Prom.
Prom.
Okay.
Also, from
Okay.
your 2 prom chaperones.
Yep, I was going to say, just FYI.
Shout out Emily.
PALCS prom is the best.
Is cereal soup?
That makes me really uncomfortable.
This is actually my favorite question you've asked all day. Yeah, I think cereal's
Yeah.
soup.
Not
Yeah.
a chance.
Does soup have to be hot? What's the deal?
Yes.
Well, then what's gazpacho?
It doesn't exist. That's not a real thing.
She said wrong.
Gazpacho denier.
Is gazpacho that different than salsa?
Now we're getting into the meat of the interview.
Okay.
It's just salsa.
It's just salsa. Is salsa soup?
No.
No. A chili. What constitutes a chili?
Stew?
Stew?
Chunks.
You can have there's a whole
You know,
soup brand called
Campbell's
Chunks.
Chunky.
Is it chunky?
Yeah, that's Chunks.
We can't end on that.
No.
Does pineapple belong in pizza?
No.
No.
All right.
The students at CPFA, I have said this before, I will say this 1,000,010 more times. They are the best kids you will ever meet. They care about their work, all of it. They care about how they navigate the world. They care about the impact they leave on the world, not just in the arts, but just in their life. And it is incredible. And I mean, the only way that I can think to describe our students is at the start of the year this year, Sophia and I co-head the student ambassador program, and a high school student showed up on the first day of middle school. She's like, I know my first day is not till tomorrow. I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to be here. And I wanted to see the middle schoolers on their first day. These kids love coming to school like I have never seen before. And it just makes working there the best job ever.
It's really special.
I think that I have never found a community before CPFA that is so close-knit and so dedicated to one another. It doesn't matter whether you are fully enrolled in dance classes and dance is your whole world. You know, if one of your peers who is strictly a visual arts student who maybe is not, outspoken and comfortable on stage, the second they need something, or if they need a model for their photography project, these kids are jumping in, excited to help out and do what they can to support one another and support each other's goals. I also have to say I really appreciate the support that we get from the overall PALCS community as well. I've never seen a school system that supported the arts the way that PALCS does. PALCS truly does make it possible for these students to pursue the things that they are passionate about. And I think passion breeds passion. So everyone at CPFA is excited to be there, is excited to be doing what they're doing. And that is not just for the student body, but that is the same for teachers and administration and everyone in between.
And it also was just so fun, like being able to talk to people and get to know people and just network with like-minded people. These two right here that are doing this with me, they were my best friends in high school, and it was just so cool to get to meet with them regularly and talk stuff FBLA and even stuff school and life. So yeah, it's definitely impacted my life a lot.